Welcome to Spirited Straight Talk, the podcast to help you thrive with the help of spirit. I'm Deb Shepard, psychic medium, spiritual teacher, and author. Each week, I bring new insights to help you heal from loss, connect with spirit, and turn setbacks into triumphs. So let's get started.
Hey there, everyone. This is Dana. So let me ask you this. Have you ever felt guilt around a loved one's passing? Or have you or do you know someone who's lost a child before birth or at birth? If so, this episode of Spirited Straight Talk is not to miss. We wanted to bring you a heartwarming episode from Deb's popular YouTube show, Grieving to Believing, or as we call it, G2B. If you haven't caught G2B yet, be sure to do so. In each heartwarming episode, Deb connects grieving parents with their children on the other side, regardless of age. If you've lost a child, this is definitely a show you want to listen to. As you experience all the extraordinary validations that come through, you will also experience new levels of healing, faith, and love. And you'll be comforted knowing that your loved ones on the other side are also with you. So in this episode, Felicia Roberts knew there was something wrong during her pregnancy, yet no one is prepared for an early delivery. When her daughter London was born, this tiny baby was labeled feisty in the NICU, and today is still coming through strongly with messages for her mom. Listen in as London comes through with validating messages for Felicia and shares how she's playing with her sibling, who is here on the earthly plane.
Do you have a space, I'm going to say a corner, but it doesn't have to be a corner, that's still devoted to her?
If I could turn my camera around, I'm right in the room. I have a curio cabinet and I have her picture on the wall, like literally right next to me in the corner of this room that I'm sitting in.
You and me, chasing down forever after.
Hello and welcome to Grieving to Believing. I'm Deb Shepard. There is no greater loss than that of a child, no matter their age or their situation. My mission is to help parents find peace and to help them heal, knowing that their loved ones are okay and that they're still giving them messages. Besides knowing a mother or father has lost a child, I have no idea who I'm reading for today. So why don't we get started? Hello and welcome. I'm Deb Shepard. Who are you? Give me your first name.
Yes, I'm Felicia.
Oh my God, I love that name. Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you for being here. And I'm so sorry that you've had a loss because that shouldn't be the connection. But you are absolutely gorgeous, number one. And number two, you're way too young to have lost a child. So again, my heart goes out to you on so many different levels. So as I go into this, I use all my energy to be able to connect with your loved ones, which is not just, the child that you've lost, but other people. So I know that can be a little overwhelming and things like that. It's not about getting it right or wrong, but just for us to have that flow of energy to get all the information that you need to. Okay. I want those curls. I'm really jealous. Felicia, yeah. All right. You are, first of all, I'm getting actually your guides around you more than a loved one. So as I go into this, I'm going to get some direction from them and then go into the loss. You are hardworking, energetic individuals. Is this correct?
Yes.
And I'm getting you put your mind to something, you get it done no matter what. And I feel like you've really worked hard to achieve a certain, the word I get, I don't think it's status, but an achievement of what you want to do and what you want to accomplish in life. Like, I feel like you've had that plan. And so when you have a loss of a child, that's not part of the plan. That's not what's supposed to be happening. So, to me, this is taken probably, with any parent that's lost a child, that backseat of, wait a minute, I got to reflect, review, and kind of look at things. So that might have been part of this process as well. There's also a sense of a strong faith, but also I'm getting, whether it's questioning things or questioning more, but has there been a lot of questions sort of popping in about things for you, about what you believe or what happened or what's going on?
Yes, definitely after the loss of my child, I really started questioning just everything in my faith from God and how God works. And,
Yeah.
um, you know,
Well, thank
it
you.
was a lot of questions.
Yes. And it happens sometimes, but I feel like you went from one place to a whole nother place. It's almost like a complete review of everything that you have, put your faith in, prayed for, thought about. And then it's just like, wait a minute, I'm going to kind of question things. So that's what I'm getting. First of all, that's probably also from the child, as well as your guide seeing what you've done to get through this. What's your daughter's name?
London.
First of all, I'm sorry. I can feel your heart. I'm so sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Bright light. And she says that was her name picked early on, or there's something about knowing her name and whether there was questions. I keep getting her name was really important for you. Does that make sense?
Yes, her name was definitely picked early on.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because of your age, I'm going to do some assumption. Was London pretty young when she passed?
Yes.
Okay. Like really young? Okay. Because I'm sensing like your memories and stuff are vague. And that to me isn't because of loss of memory, but something, that she left too early.
Very early.
Okay. Was this like not long after birth? Okay. How old was London?
1 day.
Whoa. Okay. That's messed up, girlfriend.
I had her on a Saturday and she passed that Sunday, the next day.
Okay. Let me tell you what she's telling you or what she's coming through with. And again, I will tell you, I don't care if your child is 60 or your child's 1 or in utero, it doesn't make a difference. The loss of a child is a loss of a child. You have planned, that child's with you. And in my opinion, from what I've seen, people don't always respect your loss the same way as a child that has grown up and had a life differently. So if that makes sense to you, that's what I keep getting. I kept getting not a lot of details of her life. And just looking at your age, I'm like, this child wasn't very old. So again, I'm sorry. She's also saying there were clues before her birth. So I'm assuming there was some knowledge of she may not make it. There may be some struggles before she's there. She may not be able to have a full life, but she's going to be born and you're going to go through the process.
About a month prior to me having to have my emergency C-section with London, my doctor's appointment started kind of going a little sour. There were issues that she wasn't growing. They actually diagnosed her with intrauterine growth restriction. They say she wasn't growing. There wasn't enough fluid. So I started having those kind of complications. And then it started manifesting to myself. I developed a condition called preeclampsia, which is when your blood pressure starts rising, all your organs and things just kind of start just shutting down and whatnot. So that's why I had to get rushed to the hospital and I had to have the emergency delivery with her. When I had the C-section, it was beautiful. It was my first time having the C-section. I didn't even know that women were still alert when you had. I always thought it was under. So for me to just be alert and I remember when they pulled her, out of my womb, they held her up. Of course, by her being so, young and critically ill, they had to immediately rush her, off to the NICU. But I was able to see her for that split second. She was crying, making noises, and it was a beautiful thing. I was feeling good. I was like, wow, I'm a mom. I thought I had a few more months to go before I would be a mom. I was like, wow, I'm a mom. She's beautiful. After I had her on a Saturday, October the 10th at like 9:30 in the morning. And then the following day, Sunday, October the 11th at 9:30 at night, my doctor just came in my room and said, London just took a turn for the worse. You might want to go see her. And I just remember, I was fresh out of a C-section. I was still sick myself. I just remember jumping out of my bed, my hospital bed, and just waddling over to the NICU. It was just a twilight zone. Her incubator was just straight. When you walk in, it was right there, and it was just a team of doctors and nurses, and I'm just remember standing there, and they were just pressing down on her chest, doing the chest compressions, doing CPR, and the doctor was asking me, do you want us to continue trying? I was like, yes, and I was crying out to God, like, why is this happening? And then after a few minutes, they just unplugged her and they just handed her to me. And that was it.
Was her middle name after somebody?
No, it was just a name that I came up with. Well, her middle name was Simone. I came up with that name not after someone I know, but after the famous Nina Simone. I always just loved her name, how beautiful that sounded. So,
all right, I'll go there. I'll go there. She keeps like, and it doesn't have to be a family member. She's like, okay, my name is after somebody you know or you love. So this is a validation. You have a daughter that's one freaking day old, and she knows about her middle name. Okay, this is something that we have to get validation for. Because there's not a lot of data to be able to say, yes, this is my daughter. I'm also getting, whether this is 2 weeks before or 2 months before, I'm getting sort of a sense from either you or whatever that something is off. Something isn't feeling quite okay. Does this make sense too?
Yes, there were probably about, like 1 or 2 months prior to me having her at my doctor's appointments. There were concerns that she wasn't growing properly, that there wasn't enough fluid or whatnot. You don't
need to tell me more, but I'll just tell you, if that validates, that's great. She keeps going number one, and I don't think it's the day. Was she your first?
She was my first that I've birthed.
Okay, so if there's other children that you've lost along the way, they're there with her too. So if that's the first that you've had birth to, are there 2 others? Okay, this is not about anything other than to let you know that that souls are souls. Okay, I will tell you from my experience that when we lose a pregnancy, we are not. This is a touchy topic for some people, but I don't believe that the soul enters the body yet. But the souls will come through in a session and let you know that you've had this grief. Okay. So it's not about anything other than what we have gone through as women, as humans, and the losses. I will tell you, the feeling I get from London is this was a child of a lot of joy. And I know that you don't have those memories of her that way, but I just feel very active, very, maybe how you feel that child kicking and all the movements with it too.
Yes, even when I had her and she was in the NICU, she was named the feisty one because she was just so moving and so active. And what I get, and I don't know how long London's been gone, and I'll ask you that, but what she's saying is don't give up, Mom. So if you've had another child or you're looking, she's just saying, don't give up, Mom, because this is not your fault. There's no, you're not being, sometimes people feel like, well, am I being punished? Is this something I've done? Absolutely not. Do not ever go there. I also feel she keeps showing me things were reversed. So for me, when someone's in utero, it's like the heart or the lungs or the blood, everything's flowing opposite of what it's supposed to do. Does that make any sense to you? Okay. And so I feel like there's really not a lot they could do even after birth to really help her, even though there's fingers crossed, we're really hopeful, those kind of things. Oh my goodness. Do you have a strong grandmother that's passed? Wow. Yes, my grandmother just passed away in 2020.
Okay. She feels the matriarch of your family.
Wow.
And one that she says that she had the stories to tell. Would that make sense? And that, okay, this is going to be kind of, where do you live? Where are you? What part of the
I
country?
live in Georgia, in Atlanta.
Okay. So the feeling I get from her, and it reminds me of my mother and grandmother, did you ever go with, well, she didn't die very long ago. Was there on the stove like bacon fat that she would use to cook?
I know there would always be pots and things on the stove.
Because I feel like this was a big part of her, like taking care of the family and feeding them as well. You know, what I'm getting from London as well is you really have treated her like a child that had years of a life here. You've never treated her as a child that you had an experience with one day. And even though I would imagine her being in a NICU unit with what happens, there's not that real connection. But she says that, oh, you sang to her or kept talking to her all the time? And she said she made every effort possible to make sure she knew her mother was there, and that you told her, she says that you gave her permission that it was okay for her to let go, which is not what I would say with a child, but there's something you said to her to give her like her wings is what I would say. Would that make any sense at all? Or would someone have done that?
I remember her 1 year birthday. We went and had a party at her gravesite, because again, you're absolutely right. I treated her like she was an actual child. Had a birthday party in the cemetery, cake. I brought gifts. I mean, her grave was just loaded with gifts. A dress. I brought a birthday dress, a birthday card. I even brought music. I invited family. It was a real birthday party for her. But I did have hire the people to come and bring out the doves and let one fly away, because that was myself giving my permission to finally release her and let her go. So
yeah. So obviously she was there at the party, and you releasing her, I will just tell you, Felicia, you're not letting her go. It is just a symbol of releasing. Does that make sense?
Yes.
She's still around. I mean, obviously her coming around the way she is and coming through is very, very divine. She also says that that you talk about her like she's still part of your life. Like people know who she is and know her name. And there's no question that her spirit is extremely alive. Do you have a space, I'm going to say a corner, but it doesn't have to be a corner, that's still devoted to her?
If I could turn my camera around, I'm right in the room. I have a curio cabinet and I have her picture on the wall, like literally right next to me in the corner of this room that I'm sitting in.
Okay. And even though it's probably a tiny little baby picture, it's someone that you know as London, and this baby that I just want to cry, girl, because I just really feel that you really have felt like she was a big part of your life. And she's also telling me it transformed your life. And we talked about this early on in the session, but I also feel like either you're an advocate for certain causes or you're an advocate for other moms. I just feel like you've had a voice other than just for your loss. So she says that you've done things to make sure other women feel okay. Does that make any sense to you?
It does. Losing her, I really, it just made me just question everything, because when I lost her, it was at a time when I was just kind of really unhappy with a lot of things, pretty much everything that was going on in my life. I wasn't happy in my career, wasn't happy in my relationship, and everything. And with her passing, it just made me just reevaluate my life, and just wanted my life to have more meaning and more purpose. And so I've just really been an advocate for people, and especially women. Even before I had her, I started a nonprofit organization. I used to work with mentoring young girls. And really, after her passing, it just really made me just become an advocate for people, especially women, to just start living and just pursuing the things that, they want to do, just making the most out of their lives so that their lives have meaning and purpose, and any dreams that they have to just go for it. So that's been me ever since she passed.
Yeah, well, London sees it. She uses the word, you're an influencer, Mom. Like you're really showing up, making a difference. And she keeps saying that you carry her with you. And I know it's in spirit sometimes, but is there also another way that you carry her with you, whether it's jewelry or a tattoo, or because I feel like you do more than just her memory in your heart.
Oh, wow. I have a tattoo of her footprints tattooed right here on my back. It's a footprints in the shape of a butterfly with her name written underneath. Right here.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So she's been gone a few years then. This isn't recent, even though you look really young, and I want to know what your secret is. Have you had a child since? Because that's what she talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Are there two?
Gosh.
Well, it's her.
Yes, I have a set of twins.
Okay. So I think she's bringing that up too, because she said early on, because you're going to be in fear to have another child. Getting pregnant again is going to be the entire time. You're going to have all those concerns and fears. And so her seeing this kids, and she says, oh my gee, Mom, they're totally opposite children. Is one either really tall or really making a lot of changes? Because that can be two different things for me.
No, they're opposite in the fact that one's a boy and one's a girl.
Is there one of them making some major achievements or changes right now?
Not at the moment.
Okay, what's both of their names?
Layla and Landon.
You like the L's?
Yes.
Yeah. Is Landon the boy?
Yes.
Okay. Now this feels like your daughter. I feel like there's been some recent changes in the last 6 months, or I keep seeing this shift going on for her. Like, I'm going to do something different. How old is she?
4.
Oh, that's not going to be major changes, but maybe preschool. No, there's still something going on. Okay, got it. Took me a minute. Is your daughter seeing London? Is she talking about it or seeing her? Is your daughter all of a sudden growing or getting taller? Like all of a sudden you're seeing all this maturity going on?
She is getting taller. And I will say, I don't know if she's seeing London, but she does talks to an invisible person a lot. Like when she's plays, she's speaking to someone. And I even can recall at their 3rd birthday party, we were outside in the backyard and everyone was out playing and whatever. And Layla was just in the corner. She was just off on her own, just playing and talking. It was just kind of, she was just off on her own playing. And one of my aunts who was at the party told me that she's playing with London.
Yes, that's what I was getting.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I kept going, what do you want me to tell? She goes, she does see me, Mom. Just know she sees me, and that is true.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that all of a sudden she's had maybe this growth, or she's, becoming that little bit more mature. Well, she says that she's bossy too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that validates this kid, but just to let you know, she sees these two. She sees that, she is talking to her, and that is letting you know that, London's with these kids for sure.
Wow.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling, oh, wow. It's just amazing that you're seeing these things, and that makes me feel good. That makes me feel good.
London is also saying you made the right choices for her.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't imagine, but I'm sure there was a lot of different things that were put upon you. And I feel like it was on your shoulders a lot. Mm-hmm. And she wants you to know that you did exactly what was needed for her at the time. Okay.
And that's good because, of course, after I lost her and everything, I started questioning like the entire pregnancy. Was I doing things wrong, where I eating the wrong foods. And I remember one time I went to a hotel and I got in like a hot tub, and they say you're not, when you're pregnant, you're only supposed to be in there like 15 minutes. And I was in there maybe like 30. And like to this day, I just always thought, I'm just always thinking like, was I eating the wrong foods that time that I spent a few extra minutes in the hot tub? Like, I've been questioning.
So she is saying this was just one of those things. Mm-hmm. It had nothing to do with your choices, in my opinion, belief system, any of that. She goes, some things just happen this way. And that's what she was kind of saying earlier is, you weren't being punished. You didn't do anything wrong. These things just happen, the odds. And I know the odds of her diagnosis and all that, could be rare or whatever, but it's also, you didn't do anything wrong. And that's really, she's got this energy. And like you said, that feisty thing that they saw in the NICU unit was just, that's what I get. It was just like, oh my goodness, this kid is just full of it. I think knowing that your kids are actually talking to her. Mm-hmm. And with your daughter, you may see more of that. My advice to you is to continue to encourage it and go, well, what did you name her? Because she may name her something different. But the fact is what I'm getting from London is they all know about London.
Oh, wow. Yes.
She may not realize it's London because she may see London as 3 or 4 or 5. So not realizing that infant baby versus, how she's showing up for your other kids. Okay. What questions do you have for London?
It's just ever since she's passed, it's just been, just a guilt. I remember after she passed, the doctor coming into my hospital room, and while I was laying in the bed, and told me that, because I had to have an emergency C-section with her because things were just going south, and he told me that you may not have agreed with our decision to take her, but if we wouldn't have taken her when we did, both you and her would have died.
Yeah.
And that is just the hardest thing to go through, and just live every day knowing that she had to die so I could live. And it's not necessarily questions I have, but I always just feel like I just owe her just like the biggest, like all I can just think was like, I'm sorry. Like even the first time I got to hold her, she was already deceased. All I could say was, I'm sorry.
I cannot imagine, and I can't at my age, but I can't ever imagine what you went through. But this little girl knew and comes through with knowing that even the decision at the end of her life was tough. And that's why she wants to give you permission not to carry that, because these things unfortunately happen. You just got to experience it. And that's where she wants to take that pain away and guilt, like, Mom, you shouldn't have had to do that. But she also knows that you're really working hard to make a difference out there, and you're raising these 2 really great kids. And you've really looked at life in so many different ways to help you as well. And that's her gift to you. The way she feels to me, she doesn't want you to have those kind of memories. I feel like she kept trying to push that, like, Mom, don't hold on to that. And the fact that, her name is after somebody, I think that was really quite divine that she shared that. All of those things can come together with this really amazing soul that wanted her mom to know, I'm okay, Mom. I'm okay. So I hope that brings you some peace and, and giving yourself grace that you don't have to carry that burden as you've had for so many years. And I'm in so much gratitude that you came on today and sharing your story and sharing London, and hopefully this will help other families as well. So
yes,
that would be great.
Thank you so much. Thank you. London was a feisty baby. Even the nurses called her the feisty one in the NICU. And during her short time here, I was able to go to the NICU once to see her. I was still very, very weak. I managed to get up and walk over to the NICU and and just look at her inside her incubator, and she was just a moving and a kicking and a moving and a kicking. And I spoke to her and I talked to her, and I remember being so weak that I didn't stay that long. I only stayed there maybe like 5 minutes or so, and I was still just very weak. I had to go back to my room. And that's the one thing I regret, because if I would have known that a few hours later she would be gone, like, I just would have stayed in the room with her. Sometimes I fought myself for not speaking up more. Maybe I should have asked the nurse, can you pull up a chair? Can I sit here? Can I stay here with her? I saw her for a few minutes, and then I went back to my room because I thought, we have a lifetime to spend with each other. And this is the one thing that I regret. I wish I would have just stayed there with her, and just knowing that she was only going to be with me for a day. I just wish I could have maximized that day and just, spent more time with her. I am just feeling, I'm feeling very good. I'm feeling that it's real. This is my first time ever having this type of session, and the things that Deb was able to point out, it has to be through my daughter's spirit. Because there's no other way she would have known. I have a corner in my dining room that has a curio that's filled with all of her things, and with a picture of her on the wall right alongside it. So the fact that she pointed that out, I was like, okay, yes, this is real. When Deb pointed out the connection between my daughter's middle name and if it was named after someone, at first I remembered that when I originally named her, her middle name Simone, it was based off of the famous Nina Simone, because I always thought that was just such a beautiful name. She just had such a beautiful spirit. So when I named London, I just thought, oh, London Simone, she would just carry that beauty and grace. And then it dawned on me afterwards that my daughter I have now, Layla, I named her middle name Simone. So that continuation of that connection, it didn't hit me in the moment, but afterwards I was like, yeah, I named Layla, my daughter, her middle name is Simone. So they share that same middle name. For Deb to confirm that, no, that's not just a physical friend, she's actually communicating with London. Oh my gosh, that was just like, oh, wow. I definitely feel that London is watching over me and watching over her little brother and sister, because I just always feel her connection. It was amazing how Deb pointed out that, Felicia, you still, you treat her like she's still here, and I absolutely do. My father even told me one time that I treat my daughter in death better than a lot of parents treat their kids in life, because I really do treat her and talk about her and view her as if she's still here, she's still a part of the family. And I know she's watching over me, because a lot of times I don't have the strength to go on, and so many times I just kind of want to throw in the towel and just give up on everything. And I know it's her that I hear her. I always hear her voice just telling me, to keep pushing. Don't give up. Like Deb mentioned during the reading, don't give up. Don't give up.
Thank you so much for watching Grieving to Believing. I am forever grateful to be a messenger to connect a parent with their child. We hope that you subscribe and share Grieving to Believing with someone who may need to find peace from the loss of their child. Remember that even though your loved one is on the other side, they are still by your side. I'm Deb Shepard. We'll see you next time.
So, how did you feel hearing this reading? Felicia Wow. She just was able to connect everything and felt so comforted by having her daughter nearby and knowing that she's with her. You can watch more episodes of G2B on YouTube. Season 2 has so many powerful readings and extraordinary stories that will help you know without a doubt your loved ones are with you. To watch all the episodes of G2B, go to Deb's YouTube channel, Deb Shepherd Psychic Medium. Just search her on YouTube, and we'll be sure to put the link in the show notes too, so you can get there easily. Season 2 is in full swing and new episodes are premiering every Thursday. So we hope you connect. Thanks.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. I hope it inspired you. If you enjoyed our conversation, make sure you subscribe so that you get notified of new episodes. And let's get connected. Visit debshepherd.com for more insights, support, workshops, and a book a session with me. And finally, always remember, your loved ones in spirit are just a thought away. Even though they're on the other side, they're always by your side.